Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Presidential Electoral Petition Tribunal adjourned till May the 22nd to hear application from the People's Democratic Party and its candidates challenging President Buhari's electoral victory in February. Court in Kano State orders Governor Ganduje and Emir Muhammad Sanusi to maintain status quo in respect of interim order restraining appointments of 4 new emirates. Lawmakers in the Senate screen and clear Central Bank Governor Ofili for a second term in office. And the U.S. State Department announces withdrawal of all non-emergency staff from Iraq amidst rising tensions between the U.S. and neighboring Iran.
On business news tonight, Central Bank says Nigeria's outstanding domestic debts stands at 12.44 billion naira after falling 1.16% in December 2018.
On sports news, Rangers International Football Club qualified for MPFL Super 6 with 2 games to spare.
And from Abuja, Information Minister Lai Mohammed accuses the People's Democratic Party of working to sabotage the Buhari administration, describes party's brand of politics as a threat to democracy.
The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal will hear an application by the People's Democratic Party against the tribunal chairman, Justice Zainab Bulkuchua, on May the 22nd, 2019. The PDP and its candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, had written to Justice Bulkuchua asking her to withdraw from the tribunal because her husband is a senator-elect under the All Progressives Congress. Our correspondent, Amaka Okafo, reports.
An unusual presence of security operatives drawn from the police and civil defense highlights the day's proceedings at the Presidential Election Tribunal. Commuters are forced to walk to their offices as the road is completely barricaded. One after the other, vehicles heading into the Court of Appeal premises of the tribunal are subjected to checks by the security operators. Inside the courtroom, lawyers and representatives of the parties in the suit gather for the proceedings. Amongst them is the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, and the national chairman of the PDP, Mr. Uche Secondus. When the tribunal convened, lawyer to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Levi Iruku, asked the panel for a 10-minute chambers hearing alongside other lead counsels in the suit. His request was obliged. The tribunal reconvened after 35 minutes and asked Mr. Iruku to raise his concerns in the open court. However, counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Wole Olanikpekun, asked the petitioners to come by way of a formal application if the issues are to be heard in court. Mr. Iruku agreed to file the motion on Thursday, May 16, 2019, and it will be argued on Wednesday, May 22, 2019. The other parties in the suit agreed to the proposal, and the chairman of the tribunal adjourned the proceedings. It is expected that at the next adjourned date, arguments for and against the application by the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will be canvassed, and Justice Zainab Bulkuchua will decide whether she will remain as the chairman of the Presidential Election Tribunal or recuse herself as requested by the PDP and its presidential candidate. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
All legal battles are trailing the recent appointment of 4 new emirs by the Kano State Governor. A State High Court today ordered Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of the Emir and the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Muhammad Sanusi II, to maintain status quo in respect of the interim order issued against the governor on May the 10th. The presiding judge, Justice Nasiru Samiru, also ruled that the order restraining Kano State's government from appointing 4 new emirates in the state still subsisting pending the determination of the motion on notice. The court has, through the ex parte application by the applicant, Rabiu Gorzo, restrained Governor Ganduje, and all other respondents in the case from appointing or recognizing any other emir under the Kano State Emir's appointment and reposition, amendment and disposition of Amendment Law 2019, pending the hearing of the motion on notice. The new emir represented their staff of office a few days ago. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, has rearraigned a dismissed judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Ofili Ajumogobia, on allegations of corruption. Justice Ofili Ajumogobia was rearraigned on an 18-count charge alongside the senior advocate of Nigeria, Godwin Obla. They both pleaded not guilty to the court, which bordered on unlawful enrichment, taking property unlawfully, corruption, forgery, and giving false information. Trial Judge Justice Re-Arraigned admitted both defendants to bail on the same terms granted them at their previous arraignment. The EFCC counsel, Rotimi Oyedepo, on his part, left the issue of bail to the discretion of the court, but urged the judge to impose the terms and conditions that will ensure the presence of the defendants during trial. Counsel to the dismissed judge, Robert Clark, San, then informed the court of a preliminary objection he filed on the 13th of May, challenging the jurisdiction of the court. He said that the court lacked the powers to hear the charge, which according to him had already been decided by Justice Akim Oshodi of the Lagos High Court, Ikeja. Justice Aikawa had adjourned till the 23rd of May to hear the preliminary objections. In Imo State, 21 lawmakers of the House of Assembly have passed a vote of no confidence on the Speaker's Assembly, Mr. Ajumogobia. They have also asked the Speaker to step aside following a notice of impeachment served on him on a 10-count allegation bordering on gross misconduct, misappropriation of House funds, negligence of duty, and illegally subduing legislative activities. The lawmakers representing Onuimo State Constituency, Chinedu Ofo, has been chosen as the pro-term Speaker of the House, while allegations against the Speaker are being investigated. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly has described the action of the lawmakers as illegal and cannot hold water.
The members had before now suspended 27 members of Imo State House of Assembly for neglecting to appear before the House as requested by the House of Assembly to investigate sundry allegations against them. And today, to the amazement of the House, the Speaker convened the House and climbed his seat and simply announced that the chairman had been recalled. Just that, but without a voice vote, got down the gavel and took off from the House. So for us, it was the height of embarrassment. We came together, 21 of us that were today present at the sitting, except the majority leader and the deputy speaker who ran away with the speaker. All of us came together and then resolved to prepare and serve the impeachment notice.
They say they have been suspended, but you don't suspend a speaker that has been on the seat running for almost 4 years outside the plenaries, without the mess, without the clerks. It doesn't happen. Yeah, okay, even if you suspend the speaker, suppose this things happen at the plenary and at the chambers with this mess and the clerks on there. If I'm suspended, then the deputy speaker takes over. Not a pro tem speaker. So it doesn't hold water.
While the Imo State lawmakers slug it out, Governor Rochas Okorocha has been reeling out his achievements in the past 8 years, promising to pay outstanding allowances before leaving office. He offered this assurance during the commissioning of the newly constructed Justice Oputa State High Court in Owerri, the state capital. A Justice of the Supreme Court, Amina Ogi, who represented the acting CJN at the occasion, said that the fact that the facility is named after the late Justice Oputa is a testament that the good legacy lives on.
This is the newly built Justice Chukwudifu Oputa High Court complex, built by Governor Rochas Okorocha's government in Imo State.
Envisioning these virtues.
Upon the arrival of the special guest of honor, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, represented by Honorable Justice Amina Ogi, the event moved to the amphitheater for the event proper.
This state wouldn't have been where it is.
In their separate speeches, the Chief Judge of Imo State, Pascal Nadi, and Justice Amina Ogi commend the state government for the project, which they say will go a long way to help the judiciary in the state.
This edifice and world-class masterpiece architecture was solely conceived, designed, and erected by the Rescue Administration of His Excellency Rochas Okorocha, the Governor of Imo State of Nigeria. Is coming at a time when the judiciary in the state is in their need of court accommodation and facilities.
Now you can imagine Justice Oputa having no idea whatsoever that one day he will be long gone, and we will still be reading about him, we will still learning from him, and that long after he has gone and even left this world, he retired long before he left this world and has gone, see this huge complex named after him.
For Governor Rochas Okorocha, the new High Court complex is one of the achievements of his administration, and he says he's leaving a solid legacy for the incoming administration in the state.
This structure standing here wouldn't have been standing because there were many governors before me and many leaders before me. If I followed your usual style and system, the International Cargo Airport today, the best and the biggest in this country, won't be standing there at the airport. And so are so many other projects of note. Only a few days ago, we collected the license for 4 universities and all established in Imo State. Our roads expanded, speaks for itself. And real estate is growing in a geometrical progression. I've turned land into a capital as wealth set aside for the production of further wealth. Only in Imo State today is adjudged the fastest growing city outside Lagos and Abuja.
The consensus here is that this new edifice will add more vigor to justice delivery system in the state as Governor Rochas Okorocha's government takes a bow from office after 8 years of meritorious service to the people of Imo. Eyitokwe Kuteyi, Channels Television News.
The Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions has concluded the screening of the CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, following the request of President Muhammadu Buhari for a second term of 5 years. The committee commended the CBN Governor for what it describes as a reward for his hard work and contributions to the economy these past years. Mr. Emefiele, during the screening, said that plans were on to boost agriculture with special programs targeted at wholesale growth, as well as growing the palm oil and cocoa markets. Meanwhile, the chairman of the committee, in a chat with our correspondent, explained why the issue of a leaked audio conversation, which alleged a cover-up by the CBN governor, was not raised.
First of all, the Senate didn't delve into it because some of them say they are already in court. Like there's a network that says they already sued Senate on the issue of the videos and the allegation, and they are in court. So for that, we don't need to delve into that issue, because what the issue for us is not the issue of allegation of impropriety, it's the issue of screening him as a nominee of the president. And if you ask my opinion, personal opinion now, I ask question, why now are the video coming out when he got his pre-appointment? And the second, I listen to the video as a professional and as a chairman of the committee, because there's a point that the director said, two deputy governors are here. Then one of the deputy governors spoke, and they were asking questions about figure, about their balance sheet. They were asking questions. It was referring to even Ministry of Finance. What are we going to say to finance? What do we tell them? So I don't know the crux of the discussion, but as an experienced person in the private sector that I've worked, that I know how CEO engage when he wants solution. I think they were just discussing an issue to be resolved, which is anything they are discussing in CBN is all about the economy for me. But you will leave that to the anti-graft agency to unravel. But that's not for the Senate. As that now, the Senate has not told us to consider or do anything about that.
In part two, after the break, latest figures from the National Bureau of Statistics puts Nigeria's inflation rates in April up by 0.94%. We've been joined by an economist, Paul Alajet, to examine the figures.